Good to see you all, my friends. Today I think we must come together to come up with a definitive answer for the greatest question known to hunter kind. Do Wyverians lay eggs? Anyway, the question I was going to ask was, is Hellfire an element or an ailment? Well, I'd say it's an ailment considering how close it is to... Wait a minute, what exactly is Hellfire? Did we discover that heaven and the underworld exist? Sir, Hellfire is the power used by the monster Magnamalo. And what exactly is a Magnamalo? Oh, dude! You gotta be kidding me. Oh my god. Do you not read up on monsters from other regions? We need to know these things. This was the guy you decided to leave in charge of an entire colony. Really? Hunger. It is a driving force for many creatures, even overwhelming for some. It's only natural. In order for our bodies to properly function, we need nutrients, and hunger tells us when we need those nutrients. But for carnivores, in order to gain those nutrients, you need to bring down prey. And for that, solitary predators need the speed, power, tactics, and special edge to give them the advantage to bring down their prey, as well as being willing to do whatever it takes to get their fill. And if there is one creature that will stop at nothing to get its meal and acquire the nutrients it needs, it is known as the Malice Tiger Wyvern, Magnamalo. A powerful and imposing beast, Magnamalo is like a fusion of Zinogre, Barioth, Nargacuga, Nergigante, and a tiger. So firstly, it's absolutely massive, easily contending with Zinogre for the role of the largest fanged wyvern. It is a lovely shade of purple with a red underbelly and a lot of yellow armor plating. Its head and face very much resemble a tiger, like I said, but it also possesses a pair of tusks that could give Barioth a run for its money. Interestingly, however, these fangs can actually fold back under its cheeks when not in use. It has a pair of beautiful ornate horns, almost like a samurai. Its powerful forelegs end in 4-clawed digits, but more importantly, they both possess a single serrated blade that mostly remains folded back parallel to the leg, but can be deployed as a deadly weapon in combat, almost like Nargacuga's blade wings. Its long and powerful tail end in a spear tip that can open up almost like a trident, and lastly, its back is lined with bony, spiky blades that deploy when enraged, very similar to Nergigante. So, Magnamalo looks very mean and intimidating, but what is it actually like? The answer to that is very mean and intimidating. It is extremely aggressive and territorial, hostile to basically everything. To make matters worse, it has an extremely high metabolism, so it needs very large amounts of food at all times, similar to Devil Joe. Also, like good old Joe, he will go as far as eating the very bones of its prey. This is also very important, but more on that later. It sees anything it encounters as potential prey, regardless of size or strength. Even elder dragons are fair game to this guy, meaning he's part of the very prestigious and exclusive club of monsters that can fight elder dragons. The only other members being Rajang, Devil Joe, Espinas, Odogaron, and Lunagaron. Thus, Magnamalo is found in many different locales, mainly the Shrine Ruins, but it's also been seen in the Frost Islands and Lava Caverns. But it will go anywhere there are large concentrations of monsters for it to feed on. This is a problem for Kamura Village, as every 50 years they were inexplicably plagued by an event known as the Rampage, where whole hordes of monsters went on a, rampage and attacked Kamura Village. So obviously this large gathering of monsters attracted the monster that constantly needs to feed on other monsters. So Kamura was dealing with a small army of monsters as well as an Elder Dragon level threat in Magnamalo. So you must be thinking, if this thing can take on small armies of monsters and even Elder Dragons, then it must be a very capable hunter, right? And you would be correct in that assumption. As you might have guessed from its bulky build, it has both incredible strength and durability, but also a shocking level of speed and agility for its large size, allowing it to attack very quickly back to back. And it has a moveset very similar to Zinogre. The big paw slams and swipes, now made deadlier thanks to its arm blades, the flippy tail slams, which are harder to avoid because of the trident shape, 360 spins of destruction, straight up charging you down or leaping at you from great distances, all of which gives its target little breathing room to recover. And its highly dexterous spear-like tail gives it great reach when attacking, as it also tries to stab its tail out and impale you. But as if speed and power weren't enough, this is also a very smart and cunning creature who knows how to use the entirety of its body as a weapon in combat, throwing itself to the ground and rolls on the ground, oftentimes with the spikes on its back extended, basically making itself a spiky steamroller. And also, it can deliver some powerful bites. But it also uses its giant fangs to catch and hold a hunter in its teeth, shake them like a ragdoll, then throw them into the air. Not to mention, thanks to their high metabolism, they are very quick to recover from most injuries that are not fatal, as long as there's enough food around. However, there are plenty of monsters that are strong, fast, and smart. So even with all that, you still need something else to give you an edge, and Magnamalo has exactly that. You see, Magnamalo has dozens of vents all over its body. By eating and metabolizing the bones of its prey, its body produces a wholly unique power that is expelled from these vents. And when I say wholly, I mean it with a W, because it definitely isn't this version of the word. And that power is known as Hellfire. While we're still unsure if this is an element or simply an ailment, this Hellfire manifests itself in several different forms, but most often seen as a purple fire that gives me Vietnam War flashbacks of Do Ku. So as I was saying, this Hellfire takes many forms, but the constant between those forms is that it's highly volatile and can be triggered to explode as Magnamalo wishes. It can use these explosions to further power its already insane physical attacks, release them as fireballs, expel a thick cloud of explosive gases, or let out a roar to cause a blast of flames, usually done after it grabs a hunter in its mouth and tosses them into the air. So you get chomped on, thrown into the air, then blown up. And furthermore, it can charge up Hellfire in its tail and thrust it forward to launch forth a burst of purple flames. And it can inflict you with an ailment known as Hellfire Blight, basically an even deadlier version of Blast Blight. So you might be thinking, okay, I'll just stay at long range where his fireballs and explosions can't reach me, right? I am truly sorry to say that is not the case. because Magnamalo takes a page from the book of Katsuki Bakugo, using its explosions at the right time to launch itself with the recoil, either to launch itself great heights vertically or great distances at high speeds horizontally. It can even use this power to gain temporary flight long enough to catch and bring down powerful and highly capable flyers such as Rathalos or even Kushala Daora. Let me say that again. This ground-dwelling monster can beat highly skilled flyers known as Kings of the Sky or Masters of the Air in aerial combat. And the more Magnamalo charges it, the more concentrated and powerful the Hellfire becomes. Starting as dark purple smoke, condensing into fire and changing color to a deep and surprisingly menacing pink. And once it powers up enough, Magnamalo starts glowing a bluish purplish white as it is fully primed, at which point it will bound all throughout the area, leaving Hellfire in its wake before leaping into the air and launching itself at its target at high speeds, releasing a devastating explosion upon impact. So all of this must sound very daunting, but Magnamalo is far from invincible. First off, its main weakness is water, that obviously dampens its fire abilities, so it's lucky it can often be found in the same locations as Almudron, Mizutsune, and Tetranadon. In addition, its tail can be broken, and while its Hellfire is a deadly advantage, it can also be a dangerous liability. You see, because it is so volatile, it can be detonated by being attacked from where it leaks from its body, causing it to explode inside the beast and bring it down. And even Hellfire Blight can be useful, as by grappling away with a wire bug, you will leave behind a small plume of Hellfire that can be detonated and knock down the barbarous beast. So after all this, you might be thinking, oh my god, this might be the most dangerous monster I've ever heard of. We need to drive this thing to extinction. And to that I ask, why are you so eager to make something extinct? But in all seriousness, while it is highly aggressive and dangerous, it's not nearly the monster it's made out to be. It's only been a problem in Kimura Village twice in 50 years when it was chasing another highly dangerous calamity. Other than that, it's never been known to pose a serious problem, and it undoubtedly has a role in keeping monster populations down and keeping elder dragons in check. None more so than Ibushi and Narwa. Now, we'll get into these two in due time, but the gist is, they are immensely powerful, highly dangerous elder dragons that were attempting to breed and produce massive numbers of little Ibushi and Narwa into the world, which would undoubtedly cause some serious problems. But in the darkest moment, as a brave huntress faced the female elder dragon Narwa, a Magnamalo appeared and attempted to bring down the elder dragon as well. Likely only to feed on the beast, but the point is, its help was instrumental in stopping Narwa and her brood. And it's quite possible Magnamalo is even a natural predator of these elder dragons and keeps their numbers in line. And that is Magnamalo, a creature as fascinating as it is dangerous, with a body where every single part can be used as a weapon and one of, if not the most versatile element or ailment we know of. And in addition, its armor is incredible, looking like a demon samurai. But we aren't done quite yet, as there is a variant, a scorned Magnamalo. So, a variant is a member of a species that has gone through some form of extreme change, though not something like a mutation that makes it unique like a deviant. Any member of a species could theoretically become a variant, and in this case, this is a Magnamalo that has been put through the ringer, getting into countless fights, accumulating an absolutely daunting number of wounds and battle injuries, similar to Scarred Yon Garuga, or Deadeye Yon Garuga, or one-eared Yangaruga. And it is these injuries that makes it stand out from the normal Magnamalo, in addition to its much larger size. Many parts of its shell and armor are chipped away, if not entirely broken, such as how its back spikes are gone and the shell on its back is just more jagged instead. And most notably, many of them will have broken horns and will even be missing an eye. But not everything is broken, and in fact, some things are even larger, such as its fangs or its forearm blades, which are somehow even more serrated. And this Magnamalo is constantly outputting Hellfire, constantly shrouded by pink flames, which, remember, is Hellfire at its most volatile. And these injuries are also the cause of its personality, which makes me think I'd be safer snuggling up to a savage Devil Joe. It has been given the title of the Ultimate Malice. It is incredibly aggressive and even vindictive, brutally attacking anything that enters its territory. It goes beyond just aggressiveness, as it seems to absolutely hate all living things around it. It's not even all that keen on taking care of itself, as it will recklessly attack any living creature it sees. The only thing it cares about is expanding and defending its territory, getting stronger, and fueling its hellfire. I've been told that this is due to their horns being status symbols amongst Magnamalo society, and having their horns broken leads to them becoming outcasts, but this seems to only be a theory amongst the hunter community with no proof behind it. Nice argument, Redditor. Why don't you back that up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
And fitting with this new level of aggression, its fighting style is now even more insane. It's faster, more powerful, and it knows how to use its longer fangs, and particularly its longer arm blades, to deadly effect. Unlike normal Magnamalo, who tends to switch between Hellfire attacks and physical attacks, Scorned Magnamalo adds Hellfire to its already difficult to avoid attacks, forcing you to dodge a very fast, very large, and very sharp wall of muscles, as well as fireballs and explosions. And speaking of its Hellfire, it has gained a mastery over these abilities far beyond its normal counterpart, using more complex and wide-reaching explosive attacks. It can even concentrate Hellfire in its gas form into its arm blades to make them deadlier. I bet you thought that was enough, but you'd be wrong, because it has another stage, Raging Hellfire, that turns the fire red, lets it inflict Dragon Blight, and makes it even more aggressive. So that might sound daunting, but there is still hope to beating this beast. It is still weak to water, and thunder has actually become more effective on this version, and of course, that volatile Hellfire can still be used against it, and its tail can be severed. Also, this version of Magnamalo stuns quite easily. So all my hammer and hunting horn users out there, take Thanos' advice and go for the head. And that is all the information we have on Scorned Magnamalo. It is an incredibly feared creature, and for good reason. But if you manage to bring one down and come back alive, there is no denying you will be a better hunter for it. And its armor, well, why don't we hear from the man himself? Raka, your thoughts, please.
God damn, that is some good armor.
And thus, we have come to the end of our knowledge on Magnamalo and its variant. It is definitely intimidating and dangerous, given its aggressive nature, and while its high metabolism and need to feed can be worrisome, I don't think it's quite on the same level of danger as the World Eater Devil Joe. It is creatures like these that play a vital role in keeping the populations of other creatures in check, and it's one of the few monsters other than Nergigante that can keep Elder Dragons in line. And while its power may be called Hellfire, it keeping the population of more problematic monsters down might just make this creature a heaven sent. And so, there you have it, ladies and swordsmen. That is my take on Magnamalo. It is a really cool monster. I absolutely love its design. The spikes, the arm blades, its tail, the horns that make it look like a samurai. Just everything about it looks so cool. It's a fun fight, and Hellfire, like I said, is just a crazy power with so much versatility and so much power. It's just so cool all around. I love everything about it. And its variant is, like I said, just even more insane. I haven't fought it yet, but I am very much looking forward to it. And so for next time, we're taking a look at Gypceros. Yeah, I know, not a lot of people are too big a fan of it, but it's quirky, and it is one of the reasons why we have Nursilla, which is a very popular and enjoyed monster. I'm looking forward to talking about that, and hopefully you guys are too. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this and want to see more, go ahead and slash that subscribe button. If you like this video, give a quick cut to the like button. Leave a comment down below. Share it around with all your friends. Be sure to click the notification bell so you never miss it when I upload a video. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Then I'll see you in the next video. But until then, ladies and swordsmen, stay sharp.